The Galactic Survival Assessment Center hummed with the sterile efficiency that characterized all Zenthri installations. Commander Vexter stood before the observation panel, his translucent skin rippling with what his species considered amusement. Before him, representatives from 47 species waited in their designated holding chambers, each preparing for the trial that would determine their species' classification level. The parameters are simple, Vexter announced through the universal translator, his voice echoing across the facility. Each species will be stripped of all technology. Every tool, every device, every artificial construct. You will be placed in an Earth-like environment. Survival for 72 hours will grant your species a Class C rating. Anything less. He paused, letting the implication hang. Well, the galaxy has no use for species that cannot adapt. Anna pressed her face against the transparent barrier of the human holding cell, her brown eyes scanning the artificial wilderness beyond. Beside her, Louis cracked his knuckles, a nervous habit he had developed during their 3 months of diplomatic training. "This is insane," muttered Ambassador Chun from the corner. "They're treating us like laboratory specimens." "Because that's exactly what we are to them," Louis replied. His voice was steady despite the situation. "We're the new kids. They want to see if we break." Anna turned to face them both. At 26, she was the youngest xenobiologist on the human delegation, but 3 years surviving in the Amazon basin had taught her things no academy could. "Then we don't break." Simple as that. The Zenthri had made one critical miscalculation. They assumed technology was the only thing that separated advanced species from primitive ones. They had never encountered humanity. When the barriers dropped, chaos erupted across 47 testing zones simultaneously. The Valtraxians, with their sophisticated bioelectric systems, found themselves powerless without their conductor suits. The Mtherian hive mind fractured without their neural amplifiers. Species after species struggled, their evolution having taken them down paths that made them dependent on tools to compensate for biological limitations. The humans moved differently. Anna hit the ground running, Louis half a step behind her. Within seconds, she was scanning the terrain with the practiced eye of someone who had spent years studying ecosystems. Rocky outcrop to the north. Water source. I can smell it. Approximately 200 meters east. Deciduous trees, suggesting a temperate climate. We need shelter, water, fire, and tools. In that order, she said, already moving toward the rocky area. Louis nodded, falling into the easy rhythm they had developed during survival training exercises back on Earth. "I'll handle tools and fire. You scout water and shelter locations." "Copy that." From the observation deck, Vexter's skin rippled with confusion. The humans had separated, unusual for species that typically clustered together when threatened. But they moved with purpose, not panic. Anna reached the stream in under 3 minutes, confirmed it was flowing water, and began identifying edible plants along its banks. Her fingers moved with practiced precision, testing leaves and checking root systems. The Zenthri had tried to replicate Earth conditions, but they had made it too perfect, too balanced. No apex predators, minimal parasites. They had made it a test of resource management, not actual survival. Meanwhile, Louis had reached the rocky outcrop. His eyes swept across the scattered stones with the focus of someone who understood lithic technology. Flint? No. Obsidian? Not here. But they're quartzite. Not ideal, but workable. He selected 2 stones with the casual confidence of someone who had spent countless hours in experimental archaeology labs. One hammerstone, roughly spherical, fit perfectly in his palm. The other, a larger piece of quartzite with a flat platform, would serve as the core. Vexter zoomed the